You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
Steal it.
Hello and
Go.
Hello and welcome to episode 84 of the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. This is Tim Hayes in Orlando, Florida.
Hey, this is Matt, Minneapolis.
And I am Spencer in Boston, Massachusetts.
And you know, guys, you can tell, maybe our listeners can tell, but this has been one heck of an exciting night with the podcast Crumpus. What a great disaster. The last hour and a half have been spent trying to get our internet working. But,
yeah.
guys...
Wait, can I tell you something? One thing.
Sure,
You think this is good? It's 9:30 right now. Exactly 12 hours ago, I was eating breakfast, and my phone rang, and it was the dispatchers at Street Fleet, and they said, "Hey, who's working for Sean today?" And I said, "Oh, that's me. I'm supposed to be working for Sean." So I was effectively 2 hours late to work at that moment, and there was a couple inches of fresh snow outside, and I was, up until that moment, super happy about the fact that I did not have to go out of the house today, that I could look at this snow and laugh at all these people that were out in the snow. And suddenly I had to go in and I had a whole bunch of shit to do, and it was all late. And I went in, and by the time I got downtown, I spent about 4 hours burning every single run I did. It was a beautiful day. And my butt got really wet.
Sounds like you got a good old case of the Mondays. Better go eat some lasagna.
So that's how my day started.
Hey, you know, my day was okay. Because this weekend... Well, I should start this over. Okay, hey guys, my weekend was really bad. You want to know why?
Not really, but sure.
You live in Florida?
It's because Carlos Betancourt got married. And we weren't invited to the wedding.
And that means he ate cake, and that means he'll never make it to her podium.
I had such an amazing best man speech written.
Where did he get married? In Colombia? This is the father of his child, the mother of his child.
All I know is that he had a couple posts up on the Instagram.
Hang on. So, burning question that we need to know: now that he's on Movie Star, did Alejandro Valverde run up the aisle and get there before he did?
Valverde was like, when he heard he was going to marry her, he was like, I want to marry her. Yeah, I want to marry her too.
No,
I want to marry her.
I'll totally be your best man. No problem. I'll be there. Absolutely. I'm right here.
Man.
I'm just your best man.
There. Just want to be there.
I do.
Man, this is amazing stuff. And you know, guys...
That's good.
So Betancourt got married. Frank Schleck has announced that he's not ready to retire because the Tour de France is still an objective. Mm-hmm. Tyler Farrar is proud to lead out Mark Cavendish for next season.
Mm-hmm.
God, that is... How did they get him to say it? Because you know he's not.
You know, guys...
I know you have to lie in all... Everyone has to lie in their job and smile and pretend they like parts of it that they don't like all the time. Tyler cannot.
I feel like he might genuinely be happy to have a lead out role anywhere in the World Tour.
But for them, I think he would be happy to lead out any of the other 17 sprinters on that team. Well, but I don't think he wants to lead out Cavendish. I don't feel like they've had a lot of love between them. It's like if Valverde...
You think Cavendish even knows that Farrar exists?
Yeah, he's like, who's that guy with the top knot?
Who's the guy with the top knot over there? He looks cool
man
and
bun,
hip.
come lead me out.
Oh,
hey, maybe he can be my sales rep for my new bike brand. That's what he's thinking.
Guy.
Oh, wait, you ride bikes too? Cool. Are you like Cat 3?
Are you on my team?
Oh, you're on my team? Huh.
You know what, though? They would actually be good because if they like, maybe they'll become like roommates and stuff. They are the two least cyclist-looking cyclists in the professional, like in the World Tour peloton. Like they are the two guys. If you saw a picture of them just in regular clothes, you'd be like, those guys maybe ride bikes once a week.
Yeah.
They could share outfits. Like they only have to pack one bag because they can just trade.
It could be a really good, reality TV show. Those guys hanging out together.
Roomies.
Like Cavendish always winning, Ferraro always just kind of, oh man, it could have been me.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Plus, they got that whole American English thing going on, so they can kind of have.
But wait, plot twist.
Colonial blood.
What if Ferrar is actually on fire this year and Cav keeps getting stomach viruses and stuff and has to lead out Ferrar?
Crazy plot twist. What if Theo Bosch wins a race?
Whoa! Don't get crazy.
Man.
We
Guys,
still need some ratings.
What if Matt Goss and whatever the heck his team
Hey,
is
that
called?
was in the news. Just to show you how busy the news was, Matt Gosh said, hey, I'm not even racing the Australian National Championships, saving myself.
Well, he just had that
exciting.
interview where he said he didn't think he was irrelevant yet, despite the fact that he just disappeared after winning Milan Sanremo.
So,
Not yet.
guys, we just
I'm not
burned
irrelevant
through
yet.
a ton of road news, and we've got, of course, a big road news piece that we're going to get to in a second. But before we get to Cross, let's give a big shout-out to our latest review on the old iTunes and Stitcher.
Oh.
This one comes from
Who?
Who?
Dole Kev, and it says, safe and secure bootleg feeds. This week was funny and informative as always. And really wants to know, hey, why did they have a plaque for Sven Nyse's 50th World Cup win? Did they seriously bring that to every World Cup this year?
Yes, they did.
See? Very, very interesting. And then we got to hear, shall we say, the frugal little guy recount his efforts to get out of a contract with a nasty English web TV service. Had me in tears. We won the revolution, didn't we?
Forgot about
Give
that.
me liberty or give me bike racing. Another 5-star review. There you go.
They gave
like
me
it.
neither.
Good stuff.
I actually was at a little get-together, I'd say a party last night, staying up way too late for how early I didn't know I had to wake up this morning.
Party on a
And-
Sunday.
I know.
Whoa, little guy, slow down there.
I had a glass of red wine, but I did tell everybody there to go give us iTunes 5-star ratings. So I'm trying to get us the 5-star ratings. I implored everyone to do that. I don't think anyone's done it yet.
Were
But
any
they
of
said
these
they would-
people that have ever listened to the podcast
No,
before?
none of them listen to the podcast. But a lot of them said they would give us 4.5 stars. That way it didn't look fake.
I'm a little worried that they might actually listen to one now and be like, 2 stars.
Well, I told
Oh,
them
that's
I said-
generous. 1 star. Wait, they
I-
won't let me give a half a star? What is this?
No, I asked
Delete.
them to give us 4.5 and then just make fun of me. Is what I requested. So maybe.
So, guys, cyclocross is obviously where the big news is. And let's give a shout out to Helen Wyman's solo victory over Sanae Kant this weekend. I think that's probably the lead story, or it should be, in the cyclocross world.
It was
It's pretty
sweet.
exciting. Yeah.
And then we had the Tom Boonen and Friends cross race.
Always funny
we
to
had
watch roadies try to ride in the sand.
Yeah, we had Greipel, we had Kittle, all types of goofiness going on there.
Who won that race, Tim?
Someone with a 2-letter last name.
Was one of the
Zan- Zambotto.
superstars of road, right?
No.
One of Boonen's friends, one of his super friends.
I don't know.
one of his-
I don't even have that up because I'm afraid that if I
Wow.
open up another
Yeah.
tab on my computer, everything will go away.
It had to be somebody from Boonen's team, at least, right?
You would hope.
How rigged do you think that race is?
Like really, really rigged. Like the most rigged
Why-
of all the races.
Why did that guy win?
I don't know.
You
That's
guys
what
don't
I
even
can't-
know his name.
We
The whole
can't remember
podium.
his name, and he's on the rival Belgian team.
He's on the rival Belgian team. The other
So it
rival
can't
team
be
got
rigged.
on the podium. And then a top sport guy was on the podium. None of
Maybe
this
it's
makes any
not
sense. I think Boonen hit his head pretty hard, you guys. I'm a little worried. I'm
I
more
think
concerned
Boonen's
for
mad
his
at the team
2016
director? You
Spring
think Boonen's
Classics
mad at
season
our
than I
future
was
guest of the
previously.
podcast?
Our future guest is Patrick Lafarge.
No, that's going to be the greatest interview. Well, I mean, Derek Bouchard Hall is going to be an amazing interview. And by the way, continue to send us questions that you want us to ask the president of USA Cycling, who we interview next week. theslowridepodcast@gmail.com. Questions are coming in fast and furious, and we're going to read through them all. We're going to choose the best ones. We're
going to have to take out all the swear words and bad-mouthing and kind of, like soften it up a little.
Did you get disqualified by going over the yellow line rule at a road race in 2009 and you want answers?
Yeah.
This is the guy to ask.
We will ask these questions.
Were you not ready at the start of a chariot race at the Minnesota Velodrome from the years 2006 to 2010 every single year, and they still started it when you didn't have hand on the bars? Now's your time to ask.
Hey, I know that guy. Yeah, he's pissed off about that.
I was holding you. I was the starter for one of those.
Yeah, and you were holding my bike, too, the time that the crit started when I wasn't on my bike.
That was amazing. That was our first front row start of a crit, and you literally got off your bike and walked away, and I was holding your bike on the front row, looking that official dead in the eye, and he raised that whistle to his mouth and blew it.
He does not give a shit.
He didn't.
He has a goal of making me start races late. I was 2 years ago, I was like taking off my warm-up pants, and he started a cross race. My bike was on the ground. I had to like throw my stuff and pick my bike up. Again, front row start that turned into a quality last row start.
He probably registered early for that one.
Oh, God.
Guys, Zednik Stybar announces that he's coming back to cyclocross. The world is going nuts. I'm like tearing up with joy. I'm excited.
That's
Stevie is coming back. And then he announces, psych, only for a few races. I'm not going to Worlds.
But he's still coming back. It doesn't matter. Is he doing, now this is a question, is he doing the same races that Boom is coming back for? Because Boom's coming back for 4 or 5 races as well.
I'm excited about that. Boom is back,
exciting
baby.
News.
And that's going to be pretty cool to have those two back.
Vanderpool's back.
Do you think they're coming back? Because they're both kind of like him and Han. Do you think they're doing it because they all want to race Sven one more time?
No. I think they need to show the new crop that they are still the best. I think they need to beat Vanderpool and they need to beat Wout.
I want to prove that I'm better than this new crop of little children.
Well, they've seen the growing fan club, little guy. They've seen the numbers that are of devout followers of the Anyone But Vout fan club. And
it's just you, I think.
Yeah,
no,
for sure.
No, tons. There's no rational reason to join the fan club. He hasn't done anything totally wrong yet, but we know it's coming.
He did have that amazing false start issue last year. That was amazing. When he false started and they DQ'd him, and then the whole rest of the pack got restarted, and then he tried to jump in at the end and just tag on the back like they wouldn't notice.
I like that.
That was a good move.
So
Vout just wants to get the workout in.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't influence the race. It's like getting lapped. You just want to jump on that front group, maybe test the legs a little bit.
Yeah.
So he won, beat Sven.
He crushed it. Did you guys watch that race?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was muddy.
Was that not the tightest looking cross course you'd ever seen in your life?
You mean tight, like rad?
I mean tight, like really narrow and a total cluster from the go. Like it felt like locally races used to always be really narrow, and so it was just like constant pinch points. It just felt like every corner was a pinch point in that course. There was none of those wide sweepy zones to allow passing.
I just felt like it was a European course that they actually put a lot of corners in. You know what I mean? Instead of long straightaways and U-turns and back and forth. So
it just that first lap just looked like the race was kind of over in the first lap, but if you weren't in the first 3-4 guys around like the first corner, it was over. It was just weird. It felt really pinchy to me watching it, but
well, my favorite course from since our last podcast was actually the Boonen and Friends course. To take it back to that, did you guys notice in the photos the sand pit, the quote unquote sand pit or beach or whatever? There's totally plywood on top of the sand, and then they threw a little sand on top of that plywood. So the roadies didn't actually really have to ride sand. They had to ride like a half inch of sand. It's pretty funny.
Boonen's a nice guy to his friends.
Yeah, it's very friendly. Yeah.
What do you think you have to do to become a friend of Boonen?
I don't know. I mean, the closest, I mean,
he's liked one of my Instagram photos.
It's true.
Oh, so you think you're getting an invite next year?
I mean, I'm probably closer than you.
I stood about a foot away from him at the start line of the World Championships.
He signed the team flag
Oh,
Shit.
that's pretty good.
Man,
for Swift
I feel
Cycle,
really
no longer at
left out.
607 West University Avenue in Gainesville, Florida.
Is it closed?
It's not closed yet. There's still like 3 more weeks. So if you need like any like cool stuff, you just
So
let me know.
80% off on everything.
I need some of those socks, Tim. I need to get another pair of Swift socks. They're actually the best socks I own, so I'm gonna have to pick up another.
Let me
couple of
check
pairs.
with the management.
See how many you got left.
You
I'm
get your
gonna
stock
buy
man
you
to
out.
check that out. Go out to the warehouse.
So Sven got second place again. Vanderpool was kind of crashing all over the place, but there. Lars Vanderhaar apparently still races cyclocross. Kevin Powell
Ouch!
continues to live in the shadow of Sven Nys. That's got to be frustrating when Sven Nys leaving and like Powell's just never getting his like shot at the top.
He's won a race.
He
this year,
got
though.
his shot
Yeah,
at the top.
but
He just didn't
He's
hit
one
it.
of 4 dudes that has like won a race this year.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not saying that he's not good, right? Like, I mean, he's one of my favorite drive side dismount club.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
right side of the bike.
He, like, it kind of sucks, you know? He's just like, he's like the Atlanta Braves of 1990s baseball. Like, really good, always in the pennant race.
I don't know.
And then they're never able to win because Kent
He's-
Herbeck's there.
He has a lot of mechanicals. It's obviously on Monday all the time for him. He had a couple years ago. He won like everything. There was kind of
Yeah.
a point where he kind of peaked.
He was pretty
Last year
dominant.
he had a bad season. He's having a pretty good season.
He's having a fine time.
And little guy, you got a big cross race this weekend because the application is in hand to the UCI for Jingo Cross in Iowa City, Iowa to host a World Cup race. And the inside scoop is that they are going up against a race in Montreal to follow the weekend of Interbike. So Cross Vegas happens on Wednesday, and then there would be a Sunday World Cup in Montreal or in Iowa City. And let's not forget, the Canadians have failed once before. I know we have listeners in Toronto, but these are the same people, the same country that failed to put on the World Cup earlier this season when they canceled at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it is clear that Iowa City, Iowa needs to welcome the world at Cyclocross World Cup at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, home of Mount Cruppet and the Grinch. Think there'll be a Grinch kids race?
The Grinch is there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say was I hope that they try to put him through the Grinch's lair. I know it's not UCI legal, and I do not understand how that stupid thing is in the race every single year. But man, do I want to watch like Kevin and Wout have to go through the Grinch's lair.
It's
you know
like
what'd be
5
awesome
feet of sand that isn't hard to ride, and you go through a 2-foot wide doorway at a right angle, and then
With, like-
take another tight right angle and drop
Yeah.
off a stair to get out of there. It's
With
insane.
these 2 bumps. And every year I'm just like, this is the dumbest part of the course, but I'm so worried that I'm going to flat there and flat like a brand new tubular or something and just be so mad at that stupid Grinch's lair.
So do you think that, like, well, let's just imagine that Jingo Cross wins the World Cup, but it gets the same amount of fans. How awesome would it be? How amazing would it be? Is if the Grinch's lair, which is basically a horse stable, remains in the course. And so when like Sporza's there covering it, there's no one in the stable except the really bad music.
Just the boombox.
Just the boombox playing How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the poem,
you're a mean
on
one,
repeat.
Mr.
The
Grinch.
Grinch.
It's going to be in September, you guys. They're going to have to drop the whole jingle theme.
Yeah, it's true.
No,
So,
they
I
won't.
wonder-
They can't.
No, do
They
you think
can't.
if they do this, that they'll just do a World Cup and then they'll just still run Jingle Cross as like a C1, C2 in December?
No, because there's no way. They're going to have to run this as a big 2-day event because remember, all of the spectators that go to that are racers themselves. So
How
they're
are they
going to
gonna
have to
run it?
continue that Saturday race and then Sunday being World Cup only. That's the only thing that I could see them getting a crowd.
I don't think they're going to do that because they've got to let
Saturday's for pre-ride.
because they got to do pre-ride for a World Cup. Like they can't have just a bunch of Freds out on the course messing it up.
So you think that many...
I think
I really
think
want
it'll go
Jingo
one
Cross
day.
to happen. And I will be there next year if Jingo Cross gets the bid, gets the nod.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because we know
I'll be
all
there
the
too.
secret waffle restaurants in town, and we know the good hotel rooms and all
We
that
could
stuff.
put on
Like,
one heck of a foam party in Iowa City, Iowa.
we could do a heck of a phone party there. It's true.
So,
Yeah,
This
we
is
know
exciting.
we know the breakfast joint. You got to show up at least 4 hours before you actually want to eat. Too, not because it's busy, but because the guy at the counter is very, very slow.
Guys, Jingo Cross being a UCI World Cup race. I hope it happens. It's great. It could be a wonderful thing. But this weekend, the real
be
thing
sad.
exists.
Yeah,
The
I'll be
little
sad
guy,
if it's-
are you
I don't
ready?
get to do it. Sure, I'm ready. I feel a little sick, but whatever. I'll be fine. I'll be raring to go by Friday.
You gonna hit that pro only section and just crush it?
I'm gonna crush everything I see. Food, courses. If I ever get my burrito, I'll crush it. Yeah, I'm excited.
So
It's the last race of the year.
the only depressing thing for me is that they got rid of that website. And we've talked about it before. The old website would have been what the UCI wanted. If we look at how they show their bike races on pirate feeds from Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan,
Yeah,
that old website was exactly that. Could be doing it. So
Yeah, it's true. The cursor that was Santa's sleigh. Is that what it was?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. Hey, go ahead, Spencer.
Oh, nothing. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I got a email question for us real quick. Hey guys, I love the podcast. Long-time listener, first-time writer. Have a quick question for you. I'm a really cool, amazing guy that is turning 35 years old next year and decided it's time to buy a titanium bike.
Oh,
Should I get a matching titanium seat post and stem? Or should I opt out for something different? I'm confused. Oh, I'm from Florida, if that helps.
Wow.
interesting.
Did you check the
Okay.
name on that email?
Tom?
No, it's Tom Boonen.
Interesting.
So if I were you, I would get the matching C post and stem because you don't want to.
Really?
You want people. Yeah, you got to go matching because if you don't go matching, then people think that you're like you probably bought the bike used. That you're not actually a dentist. They won't believe you.
So you think I should
Interesting.
get the matching seat post and stem?
Yeah, because if you don't, people are like, well, that guy. I mean, he looks like he's like upper middle class, but he's probably faking it.
I got
All
a
right,
little bit of a
see-
dilemma then. On this.
I think
Well, you want carbon?
C-post you could do titanium to match, but stem
Oh,
since
come on.
since what? Since titanium handlebars don't exist, what are you supposed to do? You got to match the bars to the stem.
No,
So
you
you're
just
gonna
get,
have to
you
go-
get some quality aluminum bars because carbon bars are stupid.
Wait,
You gotta
wait.
get a
You
tie stem.
suggesting that somebody's not going to believe he's a dentist because there's not matching stem and bars or stem and post, and then tell him to get aluminum bars? That's not
Yeah,
dentist.
you gotta get aluminum bars. He's traditionalist. He'll get a traditional bend bar, and then he gets the tie stem, and he can just say that he's into the tradition of it. He's not into these fads with their goofy bends.
Who are
If
you
he was a
talking about?
traditionalist, he'd just buy
I'm
a
talking
steel
about
bike.
you.
It's not. Who? I'm not getting a titanium bike.
You're not.
Tom wrote the email.
Are you getting couple? I mean, is Tom getting couplers on this bike?
No, Tom is not getting. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming.
Didn't say anything about couplers.
Sloping top tube, Tom? Or are you
Yes.
gonna go
So it is
horizontal?
a Moots 55. I'm going through the email. I edited a lot of this out, but 55 centimeter Moots. The problem right now that Tom's running into is that he was just selected by Brooks to test ride this new carbon railed cambium saddle from Brooks.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But it's not round, so it's not gonna like the rails aren't round, so they're not gonna match up with that awesome Moots cinch seat post.
Oh, you got to get one of those weird mono post things.
I don't know. I was thinking about it. I mean, Tom was. So
So yeah, you should just go. So you need to go classy carbon. You need to class it up. Go high end. You know, something like the NV. Go NV all the way, or 3T, or just
Yeah.
one of the higher end, like classy, understated looking things. Don't get some FSA.
Don't get
or
some
anything like that.
token white carbon.
Yeah,
I
don't do
gotta
that.
say, Tom, you got to go tubulars on this bad boy, all the time.
really, on a road bike?
Yeah, I'm saying if you're gonna go tie, you might as well also go tubulars all the time.
Get the extra one under the saddle there.
Yep, go classy, and you'll
How do you
enjoy the
attach
ride.
it under the saddle? What do you
just
use?
roll
Like,
it. Just
they
roll
have
it up and you get
this old-fangled technology called a toe strap. You used to hold your foot to the pedal. Just use one of those.
All right. Well, Tom appreciates your help, guys. Thanks for that. Hey, we also got an email clarification. You remember a couple episodes ago, I mentioned a racer from Minnesota named Owen Thole, who
I kind of remember that
winner.
name.
I remember something about that.
And he sent an email directed to me. And because you little guy suggested that he was, in fact, not the person that won the Northfield crit back in like 2006 as a Cat 5 and then never upgraded. And I did a little bit of my own investigation into his team leaders. And they even said, well, he did not win the Northfield crit.
Okay, so
He's
you're
like,
wrong.
He's like, he did win several races as a Cat 5 and never upgraded. And the email from Owen says, I must admit, I'm flattered that you think at some point in my middling cycling racing hobby I was able unfairly to beat up on lesser competition. I really don't think that ever happened. I did upgrade as soon as I thought I was able to. Then I got crap from a true road guy for moving up based on Opus races. In his opinion, those weren't real races. Well, Owen, they are real races. You were strong enough to not be a Cat 5.
What is a real race and what isn't? Because for those who don't know, the Opus series was training crits, like a weeknight training crit.
Yeah,
and they were pretty...
race of the year.
It was the most important race of the year, indeed.
Those are totally road races. You should be able to upgrade on Opus results. And anyone that thinks otherwise or uses that as an excuse for lack of upgrades, come on, Owen. But at the end, he says, let's grab that beer after you come ride a bike with my Fat Bike crew. Just hoping that this can set the record straight. I'm working on my master's sponsors for Cross and don't want them to think that they are getting behind a guy with a reputation of a sandbagger. Owen, I totally appreciate the email. Let's go have that beer. And, you're not a sandbagger in Cross, and I'll give you a little bit of a pass for sandbagging on the road, but at least you addressed it. And then he says, thanks for the great work, guys. No one ever gets the pronunciation of my name right, but you nailed it, rookie.
Well, at least you got something right out of all of that.
Yeah.
So.
I'm liking this guy. I like Owen. Anyway.
He's certainly not a sandbagger in cross. He's a really good cross racer.
Yeah, I know he is. I've seen the results. He's pretty sweet. So
what's I don't know. Opus. That's a real bike race. Tuesday night races are the only races.
That seems to be nationwide. Seems like Tuesday night races are the races you go to. What do you think, Spencer? Real race or not?
Oh, yeah. I think it's a real race. And I think, obviously the weekend's dying. And it's unfortunate that it's kind of commonplace, I think, for roadies to cop that kind of bad attitude about stuff, like, oh, well, blah. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Somebody's going to be like, oh, well, poo-poo, you're doing it wrong. And that's it's just a shame.
That is kind of crappy. I do feel a little bad for Owen there because someone to disregard the quality results that they've gotten at a race that is stacked with people is totally the wrong thing to do to a newbie. This isn't like you're telling a newbie, hey, it's 50 degrees out, you should still at least be wearing knee warmers. This isn't like, hey, when you're in a group ride and you're tired, just flick your elbow and that means someone else is going to pull through. Like to just say like, oh, you shouldn't have upgraded because those races don't count. Like, get off your old high horse, old man.
That's such a crazy thing to say. It's like, you shouldn't have upgraded because you won the races that everybody showed up to.
And wants to win.
Yeah, those were like the only races where you could consistently say everyone was there.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about this? This is a real conundrum. How are you going to call people weekend warriors when there's no weekend races anymore?
I
am Jake Wells. Listen to the Slow Ride Podcast.
speaking of weekend warriors, hey guys, I was looking the other day on a gravel cycling website and looking at the calendar. There's a
Okay, you
heck
can
of
just
a lot
stop
of
right there.
there's a heck of a lot of gravel grinders out there, guys. And I looked at the
Need a
results
moment
of
to
one.
collect
I looked at the
myself.
results of one of them up in Chisholm, Minnesota, or somewhere up in Minnesota. It had like 175 people in it.
Yeah, it's better than any USAC race ever does around these parts.
That's amazing. I think we're really like hurting our demographic here. We might want to just become gravel radio.
Did
I'm gonna
any of
Google
you
that
guys
real
do
quick and just see.
a road race this year, like
I
a
did a
USAC
crit.
road race?
I did a crit.
You did a crit. I did a crit. I didn't do a road race though. I did a gravel road race, but I didn't do a USAC one. Spencer, did you do a USAC road race?
No, I did 0 road races of any kind. Crits,
There goes all our
criteriums.
credibility.
So yeah, we're obviously that's totally our zone right there.
It's real easy for us to call out other people as not being good that are way better than us that also actually show up to bike races.
I've showed up to enough.
Oh,
USAC
yeah. I've
road
shown up to
races know
plenty
that
of
I
bike races.
Probably never need to do it ever again. It's a miserable experience.
Yeah.
And these are the sort of wonderful things we'll tell the president of USA Cycling next week.
Road racing is
probably listening.
miserable. Fix it. Gravel grinding is awesome.
Yeah.
Why?
It's considerably better.
So, guys, 2 big news things that we have to get over. The first is disc brakes are coming to UCI road racing in 2016. For some reason, still listed under testing, but they're going to be in the full spring calendar. Looks like both Campy and Shimano will have their act together. Neutral Sport is going to be there because they're putting in a industry standard for rotor length or diameter. Sorry,
And there's one thing that I can guarantee. It's that Campy won't have their stuff together by the time this is supposed to go.
They promise they will. I think they're probably nervous. They have to get it together.
There's no way. There's no way.
Seems like they got it figured out though with standardization of rotors and through axles. So
it can't be that hard to figure out for them. The only problem for them is that they're Campy, so they're always trying to make the lightest version of it, right? So if Shimano comes out with something, Campy's always like, we have to make that prettier, have more carbon, more titanium, cost 7 times as much, and be lighter. So that's what they have to figure out, not how it works.
Well, it's just more complicated. That's the other thing they forgot.
But it's rebuildable. As I can say, I have seen many people that I've talked to in the last couple of weeks who have crashed and crossed. I've seen a lot of SRAM and Shimano shifters that bit the dust this year. That shit's not rebuildable. People may complain the Campy's expensive and all this crap, but it's not as expensive to buy like a $20 part as opposed to buy a $150 lever when you fall down trying to make that sweet pass right before the pits.
How many times have you had to rebuild your levers there, little guy?
I've had 2 levers break. One I had for like 5 years, and I broke apart on it, and I tried to rebuild it, and I failed epically. And now the parts are scattered all around my little shop desk, and I'm a little afraid I don't have them all anymore.
Okay.
But 2 years ago, I broke the little upshift lever, the little like upshift paddle on one of my Campy levers, and that was fine. I rebuilt that. It was difficult. It was really difficult.
Did you?
But
I imagine that requires
$30,
going to like the library, and not like going to the downtown library, like into the sub-level basement to find some like Italian script scroll that you need to have translated by some.
No. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's this website. It's called YouTube. It's youtube.com. YouTube.
Okay.
They've got videos on there, Campy Tech videos. You can watch them. They are frustrating because they'll show you how to do something, and they'll do it really quickly. And they always have at least one strange proprietary Campy tool that you will either not be able to afford or no one will have. You can live probably anywhere in this country. Maybe New York and LA are the only two markets big enough for all the campy tools to exist in. But otherwise, you can go. I've gone into Grand Performance. They have a campy logo on their door that's like, "We are a campy dealer." I've gone in there for like campy, weird, specific tooly part things, and they look at me like I'm a crazy person. I went in there to get chain ring.
To be fair, looking at this video on Skype right now with your amazing sweater.
This is a good sweater.
No,
Spencer, you went to Grand Performance with me a few years ago when I was losing campy chainring bolts all the time, and I learned that my campy Ultra Torque cranks needed very specific chainring bolts.
I'll tell you, I do love Grand Performance. It's a great shop. Always one of the best in the cities, but I did go in there once to get some Vittoria Mastic to glue some tires, and they didn't have it, and they sold me Conti glue, and they said it was the same. They're like, don't worry, it's the same.
They actually are a terrible shop, because one, they couldn't give me the weird chainring bolts I needed, and two, I called them once and they told me two Basti hadn't been made for like 20 years, and I was like, no, it has. I had
Dude,
two.
that shop is top notch.
It is top notch. They clearly just like to mess with us about what glues work where.
They see you guys walk in and they're like, dude, we're gonna totally.
No, that's true. I can say at state championships previous weekend, the GP guys were running the pit and doing the neutral support, and they were nice enough to have Gorilla Tape for me to put over the vents in my shoes.
That's awesome.
There you go. They actually
came. We just got an email. We just got an email from Tom in Florida.
Whoa, Tom, what's up?
And he wants to know, should he get? Hey guys, it's me again. Hey, should I get Campy instead of Shimano for my titanium bike?
Yes. How is that?
I'm going to agree.
That's a stupid question. This Tom guy is kind of a dumb guy. I don't know why
Tom
he has to
seems
ask
kind of like a dumbass, yeah.
Obvious questions.
If you're going to spend the money on a titanium bike, you better back it up with some Campy. There's no Di2 on this. There's definitely no SRAM on this. No.
Can it, like, does Campy, Tom wants it, like, does Campy make electronic?
They do, but I think you should really go mechanical, because you're showing with the Thai bike that you're a man that doesn't believe in trends, that you believe in truth and noble truth. And so you don't believe in this electronic bull. You know that cables are the way.
So he's a super record man.
Mercs used cables. Other people use cables.
A lot of guys.
A lot of guys. Fignon, I've looked at his bike's cables.
Sean Kelly, I'm pretty sure he used cables too.
Sean Kelly, cables. He also used toe clips, so get some toe clips too. Sean Kelly was like the only guy who never believed in clipless pedals. So, but yeah, you should get Campy.
And he won Milan San Remo, so.
With toe clips. And everybody else had clipless pedals.
So we kind of got off thanks, Tom, for the email. I hope you like those answers. Hey, so we did get we got a little off track about Campy being ready for disc brakes in the UCI. Is this going to change anything for the Spring Classics? You know, are disc brakes going to be the first to cross the line at Tour of Flanders or at Paris-Roubaix?
No,
we actually
it's going to be like
no.
You guys,
absolutely not. Well, I was going to say we took a poll on Twitter of our followers to see if disc brakes in the road market were the future or were the end of days. And it's split pretty close right now. 55 say it's the future, 45% saying it's the end times. So I would say based on that data, disc brakes will win Flanders and lose Roubaix.
Purely scientific. Agreed.
I think this is going to be like when aero helmets first came around, and you'd have somebody without an aero helmet beat a guy with an aero helmet, and it would just be like fuel to the fire. People would be like, "See, proves it doesn't matter." And then the next day, an aero helmet would win. People would say, "See,
does matter."
I don't think any of it actually matters.
Guys, this just in. Tom emailed again. He wants to know: should he get a disc road bike on his titanium, or should he just get rim brakes?
No, get rim brakes. Come on.
You should definitely get
Tom.
Okay.
Cables.
I'm with you on the cables, but I'm gonna go disc brakes on his road bike, only because I was recently informed earlier in this podcast that the biggest growing segment in racing is gravel racing, and Tom's going to want a dynamic bicycle.
Gravel. You can ride on gravel with normal brakes. You know that, right?
That's not possible. You're lying.
Do you know that brakes make you slower? That's what they do. You don't want those.
Yeah. No, I did know that. That part I knew.
But you don't need to grab them. It's like for cross. Your brakes don't work. You pull them all the way to the bars and nothing happens. That's fine.
Tom's going to need disc brakes, and he's going to need his bike to take at least 38, 40 millimeter tires, so that he can really grind gravel properly.
That makes sense, but you don't need discs.
I just really hate the person that came up with the term gravel grinder.
Yeah, really grinds my gears.
All right, little guy. It snowed 4 inches there in Minnesota yesterday. You saw it when you were not working, but you should have been working. Any winter riding tips for all of our listeners out there?
Those clip-on fenders that clip onto your seat post and then protrude out, those are a lie. They don't do anything. Your butt will still get wet. They're completely useless. Full fenders is the only way. And I want to start a class action lawsuit against clip-on fender makers. I think I can get some people involved here. They don't work. You guys ever use these stupid things?
I use them every day.
It doesn't work.
I've used them, and they've always been kind of fine. They always protect me from the stripe on the back.
Yeah.
And,
How?
like, what was getting wet, little guy? Like your inner thighs? I mean,
every
Please
bit
don't
of
answer
the
that.
back of my body was wet.
Was it raining or snowing?
I think I know the issue. I think
What's
little
the
guy's just been spoiled by his wooden fenders.
The wooden fender's not as good as the metal fenders I used to have. It's pretty good, but it doesn't.
What happened to your
have
full
the fat.
fenders, little guy?
I have the wooden fenders. I broke the front one this summer. I was riding down at Crosby Farm on the trails, and I totally kicked my front fender when I came around a corner, and it exploded into 1,000 pieces.
What about what about taking the seat post fender, but then adding the old beer box to it, make it a little bit wider?
Yeah, that's a good look if you're in college, but other than that, it's not that good.
Okay. Any other winter riding tips for people? I mean, mine was always use the narrow tires. You don't need to float above the snow. You want to cut down into it.
I thought yours was the Vaseline all over yourself.
That was good too. The Vaseline on the exposed skin when it got really cold. That was it's an old trick I learned in health class.
That might be
Is that where you
a
learned
Minnesota only kind of trick.
That was like your gym teacher was like, "All right, boys, we're going outside. Vaseline up."
More or less.
Like when you went out for broom ball class.
Yeah.
Do you think? Now, here's a question. We're all born and bred in Minnesota. Do you think any other part of the country plays broom ball? I mean, maybe Wisconsin and maybe South Dakota, but like in gym class. I'm sure other people play it occasionally, but in gym class.
That was always a
required
fun day.
activity.
It was really fun. It was great. It always made me think, though, wouldn't this be cool if you had the shoes?
The broom ball shoes?
Because you'd go out there, you'd have your gym shoes, right? And your gym shoes, obviously, your non-marking soles aren't going to be that good to run around on ice. It always seemed a little weird. Or your feet would freeze, or you'd have your boots on, and those still didn't work very well. But I just can't imagine other parts of the country playing broom ball.
I mean, do other parts of the country even know what broom ball is?
What
Like,
about a combination of broom ball
write it.
and fat bikes, like a fat bike broom ball polo? Like on ice, but with fat bikes.
I'm
Fat ball.
sure that's already happening. Like fat bike polo.
Nope,
I'm sure
nope.
that
It's
happens.
happening now. We're setting up the league. Teams are going to be drawn. Give us your team names on Twitter. Fatball is on for this winter. We're going to have a Boston league. We're going to have a Minneapolis league, probably a couple teams there. And we're going to try and get a Florida team going. We're going to see if we can get some ice time. It's not going to be cheap, so talk to all your dentist friends. And
We're just gonna go out on the tennis courts after it rains, so it's a little slick.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
pretty
you guys
good.
are going to be in trouble when you get out on the real ice.
Well, you know what you could do is you could take your fat bikes and set up a rink on the beach, because I've heard they're just as good on the sand as they are on the snow.
So with Fat Bike Nationals coming up, right? in Derek Bouchard Hall on the episode next week. We're of course, going to talk about fat bikes. I think we got to make the play for USA Cycling to take leadership and ownership of this growing sport of fatball. Played on ice with fat bikes and broomball sticks. Now, we do need your team names. Definitely just send them over to us. Anything could definitely work. So this will be good.
Yep.
Where's Fat Bike Nationals this year?
I don't know, but Fat Ball Nationals is definitely going to be in Minneapolis in February. So, get your teams together.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty steep registration fee. So.
Hey, guys, we got an email here from Tom, but this is actually Tom in Australia. And, remember he told us all about, what kind of bike. It was a really long email. It was like, hey,
needed
guys.
a cross bike. Yeah, I remember this.
Just listen, cross bike, blah, 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 blah. He's like, thanks for the advice. But finally, he says the most importantly, the toilet thing is not real.
What?
Oh.
It actually depends far more on the shape of the toilet or basin. I think that means sink. Than anything
Tom
else.
sounds like a scientist. This guy's
what
too
is
smart
true
for us.
is last month people put a petition to the government to change the name of our currency to the $1 dues.
I support that. I can support
that is a
That's
petition
true.
I will sign, Tom.
Yep.
Tom,
That's
thanks for
not
the
true.
update. Hey guys, with
I'm gonna
that,
tweet about it right now.
we'd like to thank all of our listeners, all of the tweets, all of the emails to the slowridepodcast@gmail.com. We'd like to thank BK1 of Rhyme Sayers Entertainment for our intro and outro music. Download, subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher. Let the world know by leaving a review how awful our podcast is. We're tired of 5-star reviews. Mix it up a little bit.
4.5.
And finally, if you see someone else riding a bike, and I don't even care if they're in spandex this week, just give them a little bit of a wave. They're nice. They're out there with you. They're battling the elements. They're battling the snow. They're out there in the road.
Yeah, you never know who could be a Fatball Ringer. You want to wave at everybody.
Fatball Ringer.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter @TheSlowRidePod.